Today on my little bench, it's going to be how to clean a coffee machine, how to tear it down, clean it. This is a Bunn-o-matic, and we're going to start by removing these two screws in the very front. Once those screws are gone, then we're going to remove the top. Just like that. Now look at this. There's a lot of limescale in here from steam. See that? It's all steam. That's hard Indiana water. Definitely hard Indiana water. Now we're going to remove this front inlet valve that, as you can see, it covers a hole where the water goes in, and this is totally crusty. I mean, just a mess. And as you can see, it just snaps out. It's just a couple snaps that, so we can hold this in, you just take it out of these snaps. Now if you look inside the machine there, bring it right over here, see if we can focus this in. That's where the water has to go in. Not much of a hole left for the water to go in. We're going to clean that out. Now the 4 screws that were in the corner here, 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been removed, and you just take the top off. That exposes the tank and where the water goes in. Also, there's several other things we'll discuss about this tank. I was told this coffee machine isn't heating, so we're going to take that off and take this off, and we're going to use an ohm meter. It's right here, and we're going to take and push the ends together. Now on an ohm meter, if it's not passing voltage, that 1 will stay there. If it is, that 1 will go away. That means the heater element would be good. So let's just find out. We're going to go up here, and we're going to connect the wire to these 2 connectors right here. Right here, and right here. Now, I have these both, the black and the red leads, both of these right here, held on by, I did have them held on there. I'll just kind of hold this one on, go down here and see. Well, look what we got there, 0. Our heater element is good. If it weren't good, we'd be reading that. But when I touch this, it passes voltage, so it's good. Okay, I had to take this out right here. Let's wait a minute, stop. Okay, I'm going to take this out. This is the water inlet tube right here. And this black thing that's on here is what they call a siphon break. It goes down below the very bottom of this tube, so the water runs through here and stops and won't keep dripping through here. It's called a siphon break. And let's see. That sucker's plugged up big time. You can see just a little bit through there in the light. So it's limed up. Now right now, I'm going to check the switch down here, see if it's any good. But I've got to dump this tank of water first, because I want to flip this thing over and check that switch with continuity tester. Now everybody should know how to remove the spray head, so we won't bother taking time other than that the spray head, you unscrew it, obviously. And then you want to get this nut off. It's either, I think it's 11/16. Last time I checked, I believe it was 11/16 on this nut. It's either 5/8 or 11/16, so we're going to remove that. Okay, that is 11/16 that we're removing. And the reason we remove that is we would like eventually to remove the tank, and this has to be taken out so this whole assembly lifts out. Okay, then you got 5 screws that hold this bottom plate on. Take all 5 screws out, including this one right here, and remove this bottom plate. This has always been fun, removing this plug. You have to squeeze it right here or inside right here, and so you can pull this out so this kind of flops free. So I'm going to do that right now the best I can. Good luck to you. If I weren't shooting this holding everything, I could show you, but I do have this out. I've taken it off. I'm going to place it over here, and I'm going to remove the wires, the ground wires from there, so I can get this out of the way pretty much. Okay, now I just removed a little screw right here. Now, focus, damn it. Is this thing on autofocus? No. No wonder. Anyway, I just removed that screw, or the nut rather. I'm going to place it over here so I can remove these wires and get them out of the way. Now I can really work with this and move this pan around, because I think the switch is probably no good. Usually is. Now, in order to remove this switch, right there, damn it, autofocus stinks on this. Just saying. There. In order to remove the switch, you have to go in here, and back in here, if you reach up in here, there's a way to push on it and bring this darn thing out like so. Okay, you just squeeze these right there. Alright. Okay, I've got one of my wires to my ohm meter hooked directly to here, which would be their negative or common wire rather. You got negative, common, and the hot. Now that's the brown wire, so we're going to go up here to the brown wire right there, and we're going to put this in here, and we're going to see what happens to the ohm meter. Okay, we got nothing. So, oh, there we go. Now we're going to flip the switch off. There we go. Switch flipped, and voila, there we go. So we've got exactly what well, the switch is good. It's not bad, rather. Okay, now we got to look elsewhere. Okay, I've got this thing. I'm going to check the thermostat, which is this little bugger right here. You can take this out of the tank. I suggest you clean it off. It's going to have all sorts of lime scale on it, but it's got a seal right there to keep the water from leaking out. But now I've hooked a wire, as you can see right there, to this one, and we're going to check this black one going out, and we're going to see if we got any ohms of resistance, or what do we have. So let's take the red one, and I'm going to shove it in here in the black. Uh-oh, look at that. So we know that the temperature thermostat is good right here. Well, I have, like I said, I have a sneaking suspicion that these thermistors are no good. And to be honest, I've already checked them, and they are no good. So they're not passing electrical current. So this is why this machine is not heating. I have an old-fashioned temperature thermistor that I can put on here, and I might just for me. I wouldn't do it for anybody else. I'd order a new one. This is an assembly, as you can see. I'd order a new one from Bunn and hook it up, because it hooks the black lead from there, goes into here, which is going over to the thermostat. And see, the thermostat can't get any power because this is not letting electricity through. The brown wire goes down to the switch down there on the bottom. Actually, it goes straight to this switch down here. Let's get you down here. The brown switch goes here, or the brown wire goes here, up through here, up, and it goes into this thermistor. Ah, shit. Goes into the thermistor. You can see the brown wire right there. And from the thermistor, it goes over, back, it goes to temperature control thermostat. And then it goes to the heater elements. Well, this thing's not heating, and the heater elements ohm out good. This ohms out good, but these don't ohm out at all. So that's our problem. Now, just to show you, I went ahead and I attached a lead here and here on both sides of this, and we got nothing. Now, just to make sure, I'm going to switch them around, just to make sure they're not a one-way diode. We can switch these around, and let's see what we get. Okay, we got them switched around, and nothing. This thing is not passing voltage needed for the thermostat to kick on and off for the heater elements to heat. So it's definitely this thermistor assembly. And being as it's my coffee machine, I'm going to cheat. Now this is what I call a failure to communicate. I just talked to Bunn, gave them the numbers on the machine, and they said, well, the best we can do is give you some money off on a new one if you want to trade this one in. Well, I don't want to do that. That's the bad part, and I want that part. Well, I don't have that part, but I've got one that'll work just as well, and it was made for Bunn equipment like this. So you watch me, I'll put that on and be done with this. Have a good day. This is a good old Indiana lime scale. That's what I was getting out of that tank. Just so you know, this is the killer. That's why everybody should have filtered water through the coffee equipment if they want it to last any amount of time. This is not all of it. This is just what I dumped out of that little bitty hole for the thermostat. But I'm going to de-lime most of it out. Well, those two thermistors I showed you earlier were bad. So what I put in its place is this. It is a what they call limit switch. It's a button switch that Bunn has always used on their coffee equipment. That if it senses too much heat, it shuts off the power from the wires and the thermostat and everything, keeps everything from blowing up. This was leaking because this set's just a little higher since I had to replace it. So I had to actually redo this a bit. I put in a PVC tube and the original, hold on, let me think. The original vacuum brake. Now it's still in there, but this, because I pulled this out and it was fairly old and it was dribbling just a bit, I needed to build it up. And the way I did it was use this PVC, and this is the original the vacuum brake. Man, it fed in there so tight I couldn't believe it. It was almost as if it were made for it. And then I just put on this rubber gasket right here, and now I can put this top back on. It seats just fine. There's no water leaking on this tank anywhere, and it works perfectly. Okay, we're plugged up, we're plugged in, and we're now turned on. Let's see if it heats. One thing I don't like about this is there's no indicator light to tell me if this thing is on or not. There's not one over here, but see what I have? Right here, an indicator light. And I'll bet you that before it's over, there'll be a hole right here and an indicator light hooked to the power supply of this thing. We'll see. Right now we're up to about 173.3. We're going to see how high it goes there. So let me shut it off and we'll wait till it gets up to whatever it gets to. Okay, we just kicked off. And it looks like it's going to settle around 195.6 or so. There we go, right there. I guess it's happy. So we'll shut him down. It's still rising a little bit, but the heater's already shut off. I heard it. And by the way, here's the part that I took out of the circuit and replaced with the thermal limit there. That's it's basically a button thermal limit right there. I don't want to touch it. It's hot right now, but that's it. That's what I replaced. That's what they used to use before they went to this. I just happened to have one, so, and it goes old-fashioned, and it works fine. So we're going to make a pot of coffee and see what happens. Okay, now I'm going to take the water and see if I can dump it in there. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Well, we'll see. Here we go. Just don't make too much of a mess, Rick. Okay. See if we can get it in there. Run it all through. See what happens. Here we go. It's in there. Close the lid. And there we go. We have our stream of water, and it's looking good. I don't see any water leaks anywhere. They look to be good at this time. So we'll find out. We are so fortunate. Okay. Let's turn this back on. One of the best ways to make sure this thing is working right is this will tend to go in that span of water, those 5 streams, and they'll collapse and they'll come back out. And they should come back out. Come on, baby. Come on, baby, come back out. Big flare. If the vacuum breaker is working right, there we go, and it did it. Cool.